Fairy Glow TV.
Fairy Beauty and the Beast, the mysterious world of the Cursed Palace. Once upon a time, high in the sparkling sky of Fairyland, lived a beautiful fairy named Beauty. But more than her beauty, she was known for her kind heart and wisdom. She couldn't bear to see anyone in pain. She always brought hope to sad hearts. One day, under the oldest magical tree in Fairyland, Beauty heard a mysterious prophecy. Your biggest test will come when you have to bring love into a cursed heart, one that believes it doesn't deserve love. These words led Beauty on a journey to an unknown place. Far away from earth, beyond thick fog and forgotten paths, stood an old, mysterious palace, full of silence and shadows. This palace was ruled by Beast, a scary, angry creature who was once a prince. But due to his pride and cruelty, a sorceress had cursed him. He was trapped in this beast form. The curse would only break if someone loved him truly from the heart. When Beauty reached the palace for the first time, she saw broken floors, cracked walls, and still air all around. But as she stepped inside, a shining rose floated towards her and whispered, "Understand him, only then his heart will awaken, and so will yours." Beauty accepted this challenge with all her heart. She walked through the dark halls of the palace and finally reached a grand hall where Beast stood. His eyes were full of anger and fear. Beast growled, "Why have you come? I am a monster. Stay away from me." But Beauty smiled gently and said, "Every monster has a story. I came to hear yours." There was something real in her words, and from that moment onwards, their magical journey began. In the following days, Beast showed Beauty many parts of the palace. At first, he just walked quietly, but slowly he started opening up. He took her to the library, dusty and forgotten, but with Beauty's presence, it began to shine again. They sat together for hours, reading books. Beauty told him stories, Beast listened carefully, and even asked questions. Beauty was happy to see that Beast was not only angry, but also curious and caring inside. Soon they started going to the garden together. There was only one rose blooming, the same rose that was the last hope of breaking the curse. Beauty took care of it every morning. Beast brought water. They talked about the names of flowers, their colors, and shared laughter. One day, Beauty said she wanted to cook something. Beast hesitated. He had never entered the kitchen. But Beauty held his hand and said, "Come, let's learn something new today." The magical pots and pans came alive. Flour flew in the air, tomatoes bounced, and both of them laughed a lot. Together they made a tasty, though funny-looking dish, and ate it in the palace's most beautiful corner. Slowly, Beast started to change. His eyes became softer. He listened to Beauty carefully, remembered her favorite things, and one day he even made a beautiful peacock feather bookmark for her in the library. One evening, when soft lights filled the palace hall, Beauty asked, "Do you know how to dance?" Beast shyly replied, "No, but if you teach me, I'll try." That night, they danced to soft music. The palace walls, silent for years, echoed with sweet sounds once again. Beast's big hands held Beauty's soft ones, and in their eyes a new light shone. Slowly, without any magic or force, the seed of love began to grow. They laughed together, watched the rain, and sometimes sat in silence, just being near each other. There were no rules, no promises, only a deep, honest connection between them.
A lot had changed inside the palace. Beauty and Beast, who were once strangers,
had now become close, like two souls joined together. Each day felt like a fresh start, and every evening brought a gentle smile on their faces. Sometimes they would read books together in the big library. Sometimes they would sit under the trees in the garden, feeling the fragrance of the flowers. Beast was no longer the angry creature he used to be. There was kindness in his eyes now, and Beauty, she smiled more than ever before. One evening, as light rain started to fall, they stood together in the balcony. Beauty asked, "If your curse is broken one day, what will you do first?" Beast smiled and said, "I'll plant one rose every day for you, so that whenever you feel sad, its fragrance reminds you of my love." But that night, the shadows of darkness started to rise again. Deep below the palace, the dark spirits who were trapped for so long now started coming out again. They didn't want the curse to break. They whispered evil thoughts into Beast's heart. "She's a fairy. She will return to her fairy world. She will never truly love you. She is only showing kindness, not real love." Beast began to doubt himself again. He slowly started staying away from Beauty. He stopped coming to the library, and he avoided the garden. Beauty could feel that something was wrong. She knew someone or something was trying to break him from inside. So she entered the secret chamber deep inside the palace, using her fairy powers. There, she saw the full meaning of the prophecy. If you give your heart to the cursed one, and he accepts your love, then the curse will break. But if he refuses to believe in love, you will lose all your fairy powers forever. Now Beauty had to make the biggest decision of her life. Should she give up her wings, her powers, and her fairy home for someone who did not even believe he deserved love? Meanwhile, Beast sat alone in his room, watching the magical rose slowly fading. He thought, will Beauty leave me too? He still didn't believe that someone could truly love him. One night, the palace began to shake. The dark spirits surrounded the castle from all sides. Beauty came forward bravely and stood in front of Beast. She said, "Why are you scared when love is standing with you?" Beast looked down and said, "I am not worthy of your love. You are a fairy, and I'm just a cursed creature." Beauty gently held his hand and said, "Love doesn't look for perfection. It looks for the heart. And your heart now beats just like mine." The dark spirits shouted, "If you give your love to him, you will lose all your powers. You will never be able to fly again. You can never return to the fairy world." Beauty closed her eyes, hugged Beast tightly, and said, "If I cannot fly again, that's all right. But if I can't love truly, then I don't deserve to be called a fairy either. I choose love, even without wings." Suddenly, a bright light filled the whole palace. The shadows screamed and disappeared. The rose began to bloom again. Its petals turned into shining lights and flew into the sky. Beast fell to the ground, his body glowing. He was changing. And then, he became a prince again. Not the old proud one, but a gentle, kind-hearted prince. His face now showed thankfulness and pure love. He saw that Beauty's wings had faded. With a trembling voice, he asked, You gave up everything for me?" Beauty smiled and said, "I didn't lose anything. I gained everything." Just then, golden light came down from the sky, and the same voice of the prophecy echoed. "Beauty,
You have proved that being a fairy is not about wings. It is about love. Your heart now holds the biggest magic of all. That light wrapped around Beauty, and her wings grew back, even more beautiful and brighter than before, because now they were made of true love. After that day, the prince held her hand, and together they built a new kingdom, a place where there was no pride, no fear, only love, kindness, and respect. Beauty was now not only a fairy, but the queen of love, who changed not just one beast, but gave a new life to an entire world with her love. Even today, on full moon nights, when moonlight touches the enchanted rose, Beauty's laughter and the prince's loving eyes can still be felt in the breeze. The end.